What is happening, guys? We're back with another episode of Cold Beer and Whitetails, episode 6. We're keeping the shit rolling, man. We ain't gonna stop. Got Chad back on. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mountains are damn blue.
Diet Coors.
Diet Coors. Mountains are Diet Coors. Everybody hear that? We was on the Headbusters last week, the Bud Diesel. Now we're back to the Diet Coors. But yeah, no, cold beer's flowing. We did a lot of work.
We did
a lot of work last week. Since we've talked to you guys,
covered head to toe and ticks.
Head to toe.
Head to crack for you.
Yeah. Head to sack for me. I'll take it even there, dude.
God.
And who's done this kind of work in the off season knows.
They know.
Yes, yeah, exactly, dude. It is what. At one point, I remember scraping. Sorry, I guess should be a little more descriptive before I start saying that. But, at one point I was we made a couple more mock scrapes, and as I'm scraping on the ground, I remember looking up right at you in the eye, like I just saw the boogeyman. You're like, what? And I go, I've been handling poison ivy. And you're like, are you serious? I'm like, look at it. And I got a little bit on my wrist and a little bit in places I don't want to talk about right now. But ain't nothing some calamine can't fix.
Just balls.
Ah, damn it, you rat bastard. I was hoping you wouldn't really take it there. But no. Man, been a good week. I told Chad, I was like this. You probably remember me saying this to you a couple times. Like, this is when you kill them, man. A lot of people show up in October and November and December, and yes, you should. And that's when you do technically shoot the deer. But this is when you kill them, man.
Yeah.
This is when and you can see the type of work we put in. We hung 5 cell phone cameras. We only hung 2 scrapes last time. We hung 3 more, so we got 5 total. And 2 hours later, deer on camera.
Well, yeah, no, after we finished, absolutely, yeah, we had found 2 deer, and not to mention the 3 we ran, technically 4 we ran into while we were out there making the scrapes.
At this point, no matter what, when we walk out there, I just know I'm going to run into something.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way they're boxed in. Like I said last episode, a little slice of heaven in the middle of nowhere,
Yep.
The next episode, too, a little prelude, I'm probably going to be talking about, I'm going to bring my buddy Cheese on. We're going to talk about hunting public ground, which is bigger land. And you're more than welcome to sit on that one, too, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can sit out there. I mean, I know you don't know a whole lot about hunting big land like that, but that's when all that random shit I was talking to you about, hunting saddles, oxbows, pinch points, ridge tops, all those things come into play. Whereas, like, where you're at, you were cracking up. You're like, oh, my God, there's deer on camera. I was like, yeah, they're right here. And you're like, I was like, isn't that crazy? You go, no, they got nowhere else to go.
Yeah. They're trapped.
I mean, essentially, yeah, they are, man. But no, man, we hung 3 more mock scrapes. I mean, we're just, like I said, the title of the video, continuing off-season projects. Hung 3 more mock scrapes, had 5 total cell phone cameras hung. And there's only one place really that we haven't really figured out, which is the ravine, that little creek area.
Yep.
And one thing I like to just say to the people, man, is there's going to be areas that you feel like are money spots and don't end up being good at all. And there's going to be areas you feel like, well, this is a dog shit area. They end up being great. And then there's areas where you look at them and you can't figure out how to hunt them. And you can't I mean, how many weeks have we walked that area? And I'm like, where would you sit? And every time we walk by, there's a different tree, you'd say, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, that tree don't look bad. That tree don't look bad. Maybe we can put a blind here. Maybe we can brush in a thing here. Those areas I've found out are the best spots because they're hard to hunt for a reason, because that's how the deer use them to travel. And I think that if we can ever figure out how to hunt where your guys' like gun range is, where that creek
the little
kind of bellies back to the right, which I still haven't, I pointed out 5 trees and you've come up with a brushed in deer blinds. I don't know how else to hunt it.
That's the only way, too.
It probably is, really.
Because there's no trees in the area that, or at least that are big enough for anybody to get on safely. And there's nothing that you can really build there besides what we were talking about, just like a little brush fort, basically.
That'd be about it.
Other than bringing a tent, which I know you hate bringing a little deer tents. I do hate bringing tents.
Yeah, I just because sitting in them and pulling back, because from being in a deer stand, a deer can be in one spot and the next spot so quickly.
Yep.
And I'm not opposed to hunting out of a deer blind. It just works out for more rifle, shotgun.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, if you're pulling back a bow, it happens so quick. You can pull back the bow, and then the deer be there, and now you have no more shooting range.
Yeah, you're shooting your tent.
You're shooting your tent. That's my point. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you got to go for it.
I would. I'll tell you, my dumbass would. I tell you what, if he was right behind the pillar, I'd still let it fly. Just because I'm like, damn it, I'm not going to say I didn't shoot, damn it. No, I'm joking around. I just don't want to be in that position, man.
Mm-hmm.
The reality of it is that some places are hard to hunt, and the more you work at figuring out where the right spot is, that's when you're going to figure out where it's at. Until then, you have to walk it dozens of times, and I don't think we've walked it enough. I know that may sound crazy because like, it's my land, I know where I'm hunting at, which you say all the time, and you do. You know your land really good, and the deer are where you say they are.
Yep.
My hat's off to you there on that. But there are spots still that we don't know how to hunt. You know what I mean? Another thing that I want to talk about really don't have anything to do with our off-season projects, but more so your shooting ability. I don't want to inflate your ego, but tell them about what you've been doing. I mean, you've been dicing, man. I mean, the people think you are a blank slate. You've never bow hunted, man.
Yeah, never bow hunted, but every day on my lunch break and usually after work, I'll just grab the old bow and just go out there and shoot the target, even in rain, wind, whatever, and I'll just...
Yeah, I thought you were full of shit saying that. Like, you're like, yeah, I shot it earlier today. I shot it at my lunch break. I'm like, okay, man, whatever. No, as precise as you are at 40 yards, it's like you can't be that precise without shooting it like that. And you probably understand that now because you can't just rush your shot with a bow.
Mm-hmm.
You've done really good with your process and understanding. I just keep putting my blueprint on you because hopefully it helps. But you're running through the
motions.
Yeah, you're running through the steps of it the way you should, the motions of it the way you should, rather than before you're just flinging arrows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, flying by the seat of your pants, which that's how you learned. But
it is how I learned. I tell him that all the time. I'm like, dude, if you can listen to what I'm saying, it's not just advice that I want you to adhere to. I'm just saying you'll save yourself time and misery. Just It is what it is, and you can tell how hard it is to get that arrow and that little white spot on that bag at 40 yards. It's easier for you now because you do it all the time and you're addicted to shooting your bow.
Yes.
But imagine, like, let's dial it back where you were like, how do you remember gripping it like a freaking broomstick? And I'm like, whoa, dude.
I do. So like, first time I gripped it, I was like,
yeah,
grabbed it like it was a baseball bat, basically.
Well, and to me, this is all off-season deer projects as well, because if you can't perfect your deer shot process, then like you're stepping in the field unprepared. You might as all of your scouting you did is for fucking nothing, man. Like it's truly for nothing. I mean, it's all bullshit until you can put the things into play that allow you to execute the deer.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And all great. This is one thing I've noticed too about all the people I follow, from the Hunter podcast to Levi Morgan, all these great people, Cameron Haynes, they're all great shooters, man. Like, we do a good job scouting and stuff, but like they could hit the apple off of a freaking head of a midget at 100 yards. And that's no shit. Like, they really could. Yeah. We should put an apple on Corey's head. See if we can shoot it off.
You know what you think about that? You down? You down for that?
No, he ain't down for that. Not at all. He don't want an arrow in his head. He had a hard time selling insurance the next day.
Oh man. But yeah, I can't believe with what we've seen so far. I mean, I can, just because we're boxed in now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But you're already telling me, oh, we got moving on those cams already. Yeah. We got moving on them cams.
Well, it'll be exciting when we see a rack go by. Big old rack go by.
Yeah, in which right now we're at the stage where they don't have racks, so we could be seeing one, and we just don't even know.
Yeah, and the last couple mornings have been foggy, so a lot of times those deer cameras just make out. It's hard to
shapes.
It's hard to make out deer. You know, it's funny. I know you got good land because we walked up on your neighbor.
Yeah.
Cutting his 4-wheeler trail, and he was, this is how I know your neighbor's redneck, by the way, if this ever finds to him, but. He and his boys were out there snake hunting, and I thought, you are crazy as shit out here snake hunting in the middle of Oklahoma, beginning of May. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Because you're gonna find one.
I mean, yeah, the boy said that. He said, I already got one. I'm keeping it as a pet. And I looked at him. I'm like, what the hell is going on around here, dude?
He said, what he didn't tell you is it's the one that has the rattle on it.
Yeah, well, he's got to pop his ass in the middle of sleep, dude.
No kidding.
But. Yeah, no, Oh, yeah, that's what my point was. So we're talking to him. I'm like, so, have you seen any bucks? This, that, and the other. And he's like, I killed one last year. It was okay for me. I haven't killed a lot of deer,
Ooh, that was his first deer.
First deer, he said 11 pointer, and he said it was small. Which I'm like, I don't know how that makes sense. 11 pointers is a lot of points, and how's it small?
It sounds like to me like he's probably watching some of these podcasts that you are, and he's just wanting to see like this monster. And it's like, we're in Oklahoma. The guy you're probably watching's up there, like where you were.
In the Midwest.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Midwest.
He's up there northern, and they're seeing these monster ones.
Well, I also think I also think he's a lazy hunter, because in the sense that he's got his kids running around the land in the 4-wheeler, and then he went and hunted on the coexisting property, catty corner to you guys. He said, I brought my skid steer out there to help offer them for work, for land. And I thought, well, that's kind of you, and obviously if you're going to be able to hunt on it, well, good for you. And he said, well, there's big bucks that roll around on there, this, that, and the other. And the fact that you haven't killed a big one, I don't think he's a killer. I don't mean that in a bad way. I think he's lazy. I think he probably that's why I asked him. I said, do you feed? He goes, well, I'll do that here and there. I try to do a food plot, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, so you feed. It's no big deal. I keep bringing it up every podcast, and I'm sure I step on toes. It's just, now, I respect natural deer movement over baiting deer.
Now, to my fellow Okies here, this guy comes from a state where it's not allowed to feed, so he's very jaded by it.
Yeah, I am jaded by it. I'm jaded as fuck by it, and also, like the guy I followed. Okay, the Hunter podcast I tell you about. I keep referencing him. The way he put it was like, I was like, yes, that's why I stand by what these guys say. He's like, just because your state says it's legal, does it ethically cross your lines? And it still it crosses my lines. It just does, I'll put it this way. Just because you can do that doesn't mean you should. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. It's like prostitution is legal in Las Vegas. Does that make it right?
Right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't mean nothing wrong, but like, okay, perfect example. So we hung those cameras. How many times could we have killed deer since those cameras have been hung? At like 4 different stands. Why the hell do we need corn? And matter of fact, I was talking to a guy at work today who says he's a big-time bow hunter, this, that, and the other, which I was busting his ass on because he still doesn't have his bow sighted. I'm like, you can't say that and not have your bow sighted, by the way. If you think you're a big bow hunter, make sure you damn fucking bow sighted.
Hey, this guy is so good, he doesn't have to sight his bow.
Right, exactly.
He just tastes the air.
Yes. No. But, like I was telling him, I said, if that's what you got to do to get in front of deer, you really don't know how to get in front of deer. You don't know. And I told him this. I said, think about this, man. Like, if a deer had a gun on a deer, I know this. If I was sitting down interviewing a whitetail buck just like you, and I was interviewing a mature buck, like I'm talking to him, Chad's gone out of the window, and this is a big deer, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, man, what are you seeing out there? What's going on? I think he'd probably go, yeah, man, these guys pour out a big-ass pile of corn, and they act like I don't know they're there. Right? I mean, that sounds plausible, right? Yeah. What I'm trying to say is you educate them far more than you think you're learning from them. Like, you're educating them far more than you're learning from them. Just have respect for the life of the animal. I mean,
yeah. Well, just what happened with us when we were setting up that first mock scrape that we did. Right. Mm-hmm. So he comes out in the field.
Yeah.
There were 2 sitting where we just walked by.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, okay, if somebody walked in your bedroom, I'll give you another example. Same kind of scenario, and same video I was watching.
Hey, I don't like this story already.
Well, no, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this because this is right up your gun toting ass alley. If somebody walked in your bedroom, what would you do?
Oh, I'm pulling my gun out.
Okay, so if somebody walked into again, I hunt mature whitetail. I'm not just hunting deer. I hunt big bucks. So if I walk through a big buck's bedroom, he's gone. He's gone. If I poured corn out in the middle of a field, the biggest and oldest buck that's in the area goes, stay away from that shit. Right? I mean, why wouldn't he? He's the oldest and smartest deer of the herd, which is what we're hunting, the mature buck. I mean, yes, we're going to kill some does this year. We're going to have fucking fun doing it, man. We will. But at one point you'll go, where's the swamp donkey? Where's the stud at out here? And when I show you pictures on our phone, like he was right here. And then it's going to become a game. It'll become a cat and mouse game. You're like, no shit, that 10-pointer was right here. And I'm like, he was right here. At that point, pouring corn out does nothing but say, hey, we're hunting here. You know what I mean? But I just now lived in it. If you need another beer, you can
I'll grab one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Want me to get you one?
No, I'm good. There's only one left anyways. But there's if you live in a, this is what I was going to say. If you live in a baited state, a lot of people feel obligated to bait because their neighbors are baiting. This is what I was talking to Chad about. I say, if we throw corn out, it won't be because we want to see the biggest buck. We'll throw corn out in a certain area just to see if the buck's touching down in that area, just to see what's in that area. It won't be to kill a buck over corn, because I have many a big deer on my wall, and ask me how many big deer I've killed over corn. None of them. None of them. You don't bait king dingaling, man. You just don't do it.
So he's been alive long enough to know that that a buffet doesn't just fall out of the sky.
Right, but there are plenty of dumb deers are like humans. I like to use that reference. We're like, well, we'll have plenty of deer on camera over bait. Well, there's also a lot of dumbass humans out there that'll do shit, right? Just like there's a lot of dumbass deer that'll walk right up to that corn pile, like
just like people at zoos or wherever, like, this fence is here. I'm going to go over it. Why on God's green earth would you do that when it says danger? Do not cross.
I mean, the other thing I want to say is, and I don't know why I got on this baiting kick. I've been on the baiting kick for a while because I feel like I went from Illinois to here, and I'm like, I'm killing a big buck here without baiting. Damn it! Like, that's my thing. Is I want to be able to kill a mature buck in Oklahoma without baiting, so I can say, damn it, that's how it's done. But
well, I don't think we'll have an issue.
I don't think
at least on our property.
No, I mean, and even if we went, that's what I was going to tell you about. When we go to state property, it's illegal to do that on state property. Did you know that in the state of Oklahoma?
I didn't. No, you know, I'm not that much of a hunter.
Well, but okay. So here's me versing you in it. Is you can't bait on state property. So because you can't bait on state property, now it's fair game. Now you're hunting what they call, quote unquote, in the hunting world, fair chase. It's a fair chase. And that's where your expertise come into play, like topographies, like I was telling you, saddles, oxbows, ridge tops, all those things, where all these lazy motherfuckers who bait, or, you know, I'm not knocking anybody who grows a food plot, because you actually got to work your ass off to grow a food plot. You got to tractor it, till it, fertilize it, plant it, and then care for it. So I'm not knocking anybody who grows a food plot. So if that's what you do to bring in deer, good for you. But if you're baiting to bring in these deer, you'll never bring in a stud. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And I feel like it's my damn duty to prove that true out here in Oklahoma. But, and on state property, when we go with Cheese and we go with a couple of my buddies from work, which I'm going to bring a couple of them on here too, by the way. They're good dudes. I mean, one of them sells hunting clothes with me. The other dude's a waterfowl guy. He's a good guy. He'll enjoy coming on here having a beer. But, I don't know, man. I feel like we're doing it right. I feel like we're doing all the right things, and whenever, I mean, at this point at all those stands, all we got to do is trim limbs and hang a stand. We've done it all at this point. We've hung the camera. We've made the mock scrape. We're in position. So
at this point, we're just waiting.
That's it.
Just waiting.
Yeah, that's it, man. Ain't much more we can wait on other than my favorite time of year, which is Halloween. I love Halloween, by the way. I never told you about that. Halloween, I'm being serious, in the deer hunting world, it's like, okay, so November 9th or 10th is when they're just full-blown stupid. But no, about Halloween-ish. I mean, think about this. I'll just say it right now. If you only got your wiener wet once a year, and it was around the 9th or the 10th of November, okay? Like, let's just live in this mind. Like, this is you I'm talking about, okay? You can only have sex once a year, Chad. And it's on November 9th through November 15th, okay? Do you not think on October 31st you're chomping at the bit? You're about as stupid as you can get. You're about as dumb as you can get. You're dumb, full of cum, and you're like, I'm ready to go. Out there on your land, we'll throw that fake deer decoy out there. Man, we'll rattle, and it will be like fucking bringing in the hens, dude. I mean, it will be awesome watching that. Your panties will drop watching that. You'll be like, dude, I'm in. I mean, I'm serious. It'll be awesome watching you experience that. One of my biggest, and I'll tell the people watching this, one of my biggest objectives is to get this guy to kill a white-tailed deer with his bow. Also, two other people I want that to happen too is my brother Nolan and my brother Cheese, and I want all of that to happen. I think you got the best opportunity because your resources and how much you're actually honestly
putting work in.
Yeah, you are fucking putting it in, man. Like it may suck right now, but you're putting it in. You're paying your dividends right now, and you're shooting your bow. More importantly, better than 90% of people who do. Most people pick their bow up
once a year.
September. Like, if they're hunting, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If they're hunting.
Yeah, they're prepping right at the season's beginning to start.
September, dude. September, maybe late August. Like, can you imagine doing that now? You'd probably feel unprepared as much as you're shooting right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, at this point, it's just routine. It feels like stretching in the morning if I don't do it.
That's good, man. Well, I feel like I don't know how long we've gone, but either way, guys, I appreciate if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Anybody who has already subscribed, thank you very much.
Hit us up in the chat.
Hit us up in the chat. Yeah, I appreciate everybody who has subscribed. Our channel's growing very quickly. By the end of the year, my goal is to have 1,000 subscribers, and at this rate, we're gonna hit that. I mean, we're gonna get there. So thank you for everybody watching and following along, man. If you have anything to say, hit us up in the chat. We'll reply. We're pretty good at commenting back. So
let us know if you like what we're doing. Let us know if you think he's full of crap.
Yeah, he's the one full of shit. Cheers, boys. Enjoy your cold beers. Crack one when you watch it.